Hello, hello. Anyway, I am going to just hang out and stream. I haven't streamed in forever. Last stream I did with, actually I did a stream not long ago, but before that I haven't streamed for forever. But I did a stream with Luke, and so what I want to do is on Friday nights is to get back to normal streaming schedule where I just kind of every Friday 8 p.m. CST time kind of hang out and do some kind of just coding, streaming, answering questions and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to start today with. And I'm going to just work on building some stuff with Strapi and Next.js. I actually have a project. I'll share a couple of projects that I was working on and kind of talk through them and maybe try to make some progress. Yep, but that's the plan. I'm gonna open up my chat just in case there's some of you here. You could ask questions. If people don't have questions, it's okay too. All right, all right, all right. But anyway, hello everybody. And yeah, I'm just gonna chill here while building stuff. So I've been working on a project that I started a while ago. I wanted to share free courses that I make, and I wanted to create a easy place for people to kind of consume the courses with a little bit more resources. So I've been working on this website, and I had many iterations. I just recently started rebuilding it. Vercel.com, and I'm just gonna look at the source, and I'm trying to kind of use like Next.js for my front end and Strapi for my back end. And one interesting thing I wanted to do is make sure that I'm kind of using the latest, greatest. So we're using ShadCN UI. We're using Tailwind 4. And right now I'm at a point just trying to kind of get it to usable kind of place. And so if you take a look at the package JSON, I am running Next 15, and then Tailwind CSS4, ShadCN, which is kind of cool. I really like ShadCN UI because I hate doing front end. And I'll show you in a little bit like the project that I kind of recently built that I'll share with you. That's kind of cool because it's a portfolio site. So it's a kind of cool example of how to build a portfolio site with Tailwind, ShadCN UI, and using something like Strapi. But I'll show you that in a second, because right now I just want to show you kind of where my app is at the moment that I'm building. So I have Coding After 30, and so I am obviously on YouTube. And I don't have paid classes because I feel like this is like the videos you watch. Well, anyway, so much advertisement. My God. But I did a video series that I'm working on, Strapi Crash Course. I don't know how to spell, Crash Course 2025. And so I have this playlist right here. And so of course you could watch it on YouTube. But what I wanted to do is like I wanted to kind of have the course for each video include the notes. So like you should be able to redirect back to the course here. And by the way, this redirect link is broken. Like the idea here, Northside kind of saves the address to where it needs to redirect to. And the idea is once I log in, it should redirect me to that course. It doesn't. It redirects me to the courses page. So that's broken. So that's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to look at that in this kind of session, but basically I was redoing this website, kind of simplified a little bit. You still need to log in with GitHub, but it's just free. Basically what I want, if people coding, I'm like, you should have a GitHub account. And so the idea, and by the way, I just saw Northern Chimp, the OG subscriber of this channel. Thank you for being here. I hope you're having amazing time and doing well. But you've been supporting this channel since people even know it existed. So always appreciate seeing you here. By the way, what you working on these days? Anyway, let me know. And so I'm kind of rebooting this website because I want people who watch my courses on YouTube be able to have a better experience. So you could like view the course. I kind of got this working. You select the course, and I have to go through the notes and I have to update the notes. But what I wanted to do is kind of give you the notes and the code samples so you have it all in one place. So when you're watching the video and you're kind of working through it, you could basically look at the notes at the same time instead of having this experience on YouTube. Of course, I have ads, but let me skip the ad where it's like, yeah, you could watch the video on YouTube, but you don't have access in one easy way for all the notes. So like, yeah, it's like you watch the tutorial. So the idea is like I post everything on YouTube because obviously it gives marketability. People could find it on YouTube and enjoy it here. But obviously I'm linking back to this website where you will be able to have slightly better experience kind of watching the videos, because for every session, okay,
people, and welcome to
here. I'm lazy.
So now
I didn't add the notes in a lot of these videos, but so here
you probably were expecting to see my face. Fortunately for some, or unfortunately for.
And I added like this controls here. I actually added this thing like to be able to browse easily, which I didn't have before, which is kind of nice to have. And this has an overlay, so you can't click anywhere to leave this video player to go back to YouTube, because I want you to focus on watching the video and learning. But I am hosting the videos on YouTube because it's free, and since this course is free, I'm like, why not? But the point is, it's like I want to give users a better experience to be able to kind of watch the video, and I will have like basic notes here around the video, but then you have your coding notes here. And one thing that I wanted to do, I wanted to create maybe like a component here which has code snippets of the projects where it's easier to like copy snippets if I had code snippets, or even kind of type in the code and save it, which I didn't add that functionality yet, but try to make this more interactive. But anyway, so this is what I'm kind of rebuilding and working on right now. We just have the main view, which is like a basic landing page. You have courses. If you're not logged in and you try, like, notice how you can't go to the courses, it asks you to sign in. And again, to sign in, you just have to have a GitHub account. You don't pay nothing. I just wanted to literally have the sign-in so I could set up the how to sign in with GitHub. And eventually we'll have some cool functionality, but I just wanted to add it here. And then you'll be able to go and check out the courses. And you'll see all the courses on the left. And I made this thing where you could hide to give yourself more real estate. So for instance, if you're watching the video, you could be like, oh, I kind of, want to, see the video.
Hello, you wonderful people.
And then it's like, oh no, I want to see more of the notes, make the video smaller. So like the idea is to kind of give us a better experience interacting with the app. So this is kind of like what I'm working on. We have auth working, so you could sign in, you can sign out, and if you sign out, it's going to kind of redirect you back to the main screen. Like one thing here, like if you sign in, I didn't implement this yet, but there is going to be a dashboard, which I kind of left there as a placeholder, but ideally, like I want to show like some sort of stats here. So it's empty right now, but I want to show some stats, like kind of like the courses you're taking, like maybe you could even have this ability to take notes. But anyway, just create an easier experience for people to kind of have an easier time to interact with my courses. And right now, this is the course that I'm working on. Then I'm going to move on to updating the Astro Crash course, which is not done. And then we'll finally finish with Next.js. I also added this, dark theme, if that's what people like, But so this is the project that I'm working on, and this is probably one that I'm going to kind of probably work a little bit today. But before I do that, I also want to show you like I like coming up with these cool ideas of building things really quickly. So like, let's say like you want to build a portfolio website quickly, or you have like a client, you want to try some freelancing. So I've been exploring kind of different things. And so this website I found, Shed CNUI blocks, is kind of cool because you have like different components and blocks that people could use. And then one thing they have here is they have either, you could look at the components, right? All the different, like, oh, we have a badge component. They have checkboxes. So it's really cool. So it's another like cool way, like I don't want to focus too much on UI personally because I want to work on the backend logic, work on like all this other integration. So you have all these different cool components that you could kind of pick from and choose from to help you to continue building your website without slowing yourself down. And another thing that I kind of took a look here, let me go back to where I was before, is they have templates. And so they have a bunch of different templates, and I really liked this one, portfolio template that they have. And so you could look at the live preview. This is what it looks like. And right now, like if you were to get this template, like all this data is like static. It's literally coded into your website. And you could take a look at the GitHub. If you go, let's say, like into their components and you take a look at their about, you could see that all of this is hard-coded, right? And so what I wanted to do, I'm like, oh, I love that template, but I want it to be dynamic. I want users to be able to kind of make this website and allow non-technical people to easily manage the data. So what I did is I created this project. I'll quickly show you how to set it up if you're interested. So if I go home, I think I called it Cool Project. Cool, simple portfolio project. I literally did it like yesterday, 3 days, started 3 days ago, the initial project. And basically I took this portfolio website and I made it dynamic where you have a admin area where you can go ahead and basically allow non-technical users to connect you down. And by the way, yeah, if you're here watching the show, definitely please ask questions. I do want it to be interactive. So Shani's567 asking, what is your recommended suggestion to get clients for projects like this? So getting clients is very difficult, but what I would do is one of the things, like I like going on Reddit. There's like WordPress Reddit. There's other like Reddit, where people are kind of building simple projects with like WordPress or Squarespace. And I try to target that market. And basically I start kind of answering questions and then being like, oh, by the way, if you're looking for a website, like WordPress is great, but maybe like having a more custom solution is what you're looking for. Let me tell you something about it. So like you kind of have to go out of your way to kind of try to find clients, and that is the hardest thing to do. Some people say like go on Upwork. I think Upwork is like really competitive. I mean, so I don't use it also because I live in the United States. It's very hard to compete on price on Upwork. But usually I would say it's like word of mouth. It's like basically like if you live in the local area, what I would do is instead of finding my own clients, because that's way harder, like I would look at my local area, and there's in my local area, we have a bunch of marketing agencies that one of the things that they do is they create small business websites, either using Workspace or basically they're marketing shops, but they offer web development services to their clients. And I would call them up and say, hey, I'm a freelance web developer. I would love to help you to take on some of your clients. This is the type of work I do. So I would literally try to see if I could become a subcontractor for those agencies first. And that way you're not solely responsible for trying to find your own clients, but you're more, you get clients kind of given to you and you just fulfill, the project, the website. I'm not saying that's also easy. I think finding clients is one of the hardest things, but you have to start somewhere. So I would go to local agencies, and what I've done in the past, I actually just recently did this. So there's a restaurant in Vegas where I wanted to get a discount. It was like a Japanese restaurant, and they have the ugliest website you could ever imagine. So I literally called them and said, I'll make you a website for your restaurant if you give me like 50% discount every time I come in and eat food at your restaurant. I'm not saying you should work for free, but for me, the way I looked at it is like I could get a client, I could make a website, and then I could point to that website as one of the projects that I did in the past. So if you've never worked as a freelancer, the hardest thing is going to be to find your first client. So I would say, one, pick a niche like plumbers, restaurants, like coffee shops, like small local business, not like big branches, and then see how their websites look like, and then take note of all the websites that you can help to improve or look like crap, and then contact the businesses and tell them what you can do. And don't just contact them with nothing to show. Like you should kind of think about all the improvements, maybe do a little mock-up of how their new website could look like. What I typically do is find a bunch of themes that I think would improve the look of their website, and I kind of repurpose it and show them, hey, I was thinking about your business. Check out, this is what it looks like now. Here, check out, this is what I think would make it look way better, and then have some start conversation. And then outside of that is look up for like small marketing agencies that offer web services, and then see if you could work as a subcontractor for them. And then the last thing would be trying to find my own clients, which is very difficult because finding clients, it's literally skills in sales and marketing. And part of like marketing and sales is knowing how to get out there in front of people. But hopefully that answered your question. Let me know if you have any follow-ups. But here's the website that I was kind of talking about. I found this theme. And so you might have a client that might find a theme. And what I like to do, I also like to do this. There's like a website called ThemeForest. You could find a bunch of different like templates. But usually when you find templates like this, a lot of like people that you add these services to who want websites that are not technical, so they want to have an ability to easily manage like their backend. So what I do is I use Strapi as a headless CMS. You could use whatever CMS you want, but basically in 5 minutes, you could quickly set it up and it'll give you a nice, beautiful admin area where non-technical people can easily add data. But for you as a developer, you get the REST API response that you could feed into this website. So I kind of want to show you here. So this is the website here that I found, the template. If you take a look at this template and you look at the pages here, you will see that it has the components. Actually, let me do this. I love the VS Code in the browser. If you take a look at their components, like experience, everything is hard-coded, right? So all the data, is being passed, but it's being passed from, let me take a look here. Hold on a second, where is it? Utils, app. I know everything is hard-coded here because I just looked at it. Layout page here, or maybe go to here section. Oh man, I gotta go here. Yeah, so you could see like it has the text here and the image, and I was like, man, that's too much work for like people to be able to kind of, expect a developer to do this. So I use Strapi, and so here I'll show you what I did. Let me quickly set up. So I took this, and notice how now I have a client folder, which is that template. And then what I did, instead of hard coding things, I basically make a call to Strapi where I have my data, and then I refactored the code to create this block renderer, which has a bunch of different components. And I'll show you a little bit as I walk through this. But basically now, instead of having the data be static, it's coming from an API. And I'll show you like kind of example. And if you want to try this out here, let me put this in the link, this repo here. Let me put it in chat. And then I know you have a follow-up question, so let me take a look at it here. Why is my own software, video software, is not letting me comment on my own video? Are you kidding me right now? But that's okay. I'll put it here in the live stream. So the follow-up questions would be, is there a pricing model that you go by based on the project scope and complexity? So I think this is still up. My CMS corner. No, that's a different. I have like a bunch of different websites that I was kind of experimenting with. I don't think it's this one. Oh, you know what? I decided I don't have time for this one. I need to start a different agency. So what happened is, by the way, is I get too many responsibilities. I took over the Next.js meetup in Austin, Texas, and so I'm like, okay, I gotta work on that first. But so I made a website for this. But I had a website where I kind of was doing services like this on the side. And if you want to know how to price stuff and how to think about it, I actually made a great video, how to freelance in 2025 coding after. I'll share this video if you never saw it again. I go into like great detail exactly how to set up and how to go into freelancing. And by the way, I made this video. It's pretty amazing that I watch it when I have to remind myself of like what the important things are for freelancing. I do talk about pricing here, but basically what I say here is when you're starting out, especially as a solo developer, you need to make sure that you keep the scope of what you're building reasonable, that it doesn't get out of hand where you can't complete the service. So keep things simple. So basically what I started with is a very simple website, which the starting kind of websites starting point is $1,500. So $1,000, $500. And for that, you get a basic website, which has a backend where a non-technical user could update all the data. And what you get a landing page. You get, 3 additional pages like about whatever information you need, and then you have like a blog section. That was like my basic starting model. And what I did for any additional work, I would basically be like, hey, my hourly rate is $50 an hour. So after this base price, if you want to add any additional things for your website, you could do it that way. And that's kind of like what I went, because I didn't want to have too much commitment to the client, but you could always kind of play with that. So for me, I have like a base which people have to commit for the project. So like $1,500, and I say you have to pay 50% upfront and 50% when it's done. And then any additional work, you could pay me $50 an hour. Whatever makes sense. So that was like the simplest pricing model that I did. And you do have to have like a very kind of like a package deal that you offer, which kind of, is very clear what the customer is expecting. And you could like Google pricing websites, WordPress. I'll look up WordPress agencies, because what I like to do is usually see what folks in WordPress are doing. Anyway, I was just going to look up some stuff. But yeah, I would do some research. Build. Let me look up basic website, and I'll share my screen in a second. Pricing for small business website. And I'll get, like, I have some friends who are freelancers. I'm trying to kind of make them find time so they could, come in and kind of talk about what they're doing in their agency. And like, I just found this article, and I think like doing some research up front and kind of using as a small guide. So here's what is the average cost of a website designed for a small business. And this kind of outlines kind of like the cost and what you should charge, and kind of the services that you should kind of implement into like your package here. I didn't read this, but I'll share this in the chat. But definitely have to do like some of your own research. But also watch the video I shared. I did like a pretty in-depth walkthrough how to start if you were to start as a freelancer at the beginning. So anyway, and I'll keep, if you have anybody else has questions in chat, definitely ask, and I'll keep going. So basically, notice how I was talking earlier, how I found this template, everything is hard-coded. I was like, nah, like I don't want it to be hard-coded. So I redid the project where you have the front end, but you also have a back end where non-technical users are able to kind of manage the content. So you could actually clone it. Let me just kind of do it live. New window. So I'm going to do cd temp. And then I'm going to clone simple portfolio with Next app. Then I'm going to cd into cool simple portfolio. And then here I created a very simple script. So to install the dependencies, you just run yarn setup. And it's going to go ahead and install the dependencies to the projects if you guys want to try it. And I think like if you're learning kind of like a good base template of how to create a simple website with Headless CMS for non-technical people to be able to change content, this is actually a pretty good example because it's not too complex, not too much functionality, and it kind of gives you like a general idea of what to expect. So this website also has some dummy data. So after you install the dependencies, still in the root, right? I'm still in the root. I'm going to run yarn seed. That's going to go ahead and seed all the data. And once that's done, to start both the front end and the back end, I think it's done. Yep. Let me clear the screen. Let me open this project in VS Code first. So we could kind of be able to take a look at it. Let me make it bigger. So I have both my front end, which is my Next.js template that I showed you earlier that I found somewhere, somebody built, and then I have the Strapi server. And by the way, the scripts that I was running, I kind of created some scripts to make it easier for folks to set up the project. So we have yarn setup that set up all the dependencies, yarn seed that basically seeds the data that I have on the website, and then yarn dev will start both the front end and the back end if you run it in root. It might fail because I might have another project already running on this port. I don't remember. Okay, good. Yeah, so let me go disable the other part. I have too many projects that I'm working on. By the way, also like what you could do is be like, nah, like it's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and into server. Like if you go into .env, you could just change the port. I'll change it to port 1340. So I don't have to stop my other application that I'm working on and then just run yarn dev. And so it's running Next.js on the front end and then Strapi on the back end. So if I go to, now I'm already in localhost. So if I do localhost, you're gonna see that, okay, I know what the issue is, very easily fixed. So localhost 1337, it's because I'm kind of, no, not 1337, I changed it to 1340. So once you start, it's gonna ask you to create your first admin user. I should probably put this in a README. I thought I saved it at gmail.com. This is just like you could put whatever information because this is running locally. Monkey1234. So I have, so basically here's the admin that came with Strapi. And so like what I did is I created a page, which is the homepage. And so it's not published. That's why I was complaining. And then you have your projects, your technology, and you have the global page, which has the navigation. And this is basically what I did is I took the template that I found, this portfolio template, right? And I took a look at it. I was like, oh, they have a top navigation. They have a basic footer. So in Strapi, I created a global component that basically represents the data for the header, like the navigation, the footer, the social links. And then when I was looking at the website, I was like, oh, they have a couple of different sections. They have a hero section. They have this section with an image. They have experience sections and feature products. So in Strapi, I went ahead and built out those kind of pages. So like I build a way to represent all the experience, to represent all the projects, made little technologies for the tags. And basically, I also created a page for the homepage where I'm able to kind of represent all that data that's going to be like visible on my website. And now here, like a non-technical user could easily go like update, fix something, and check it out. And I'll show you this in a second. Let me just make sure that I set all the permissions properly. So public, experience, fine. And basically, when Strapi basically allows you to create endpoints, and sometimes if you find something's not working right, make sure that you enabled the endpoints, because by default, they're all turned off, because obviously you want to keep your site as secure and only allow available endpoints that you want people to access. And I'm giving public access here. And so let's try this again. Oh, I see the issue. I'm also an idiot. That wasn't even the problem. The idiot is, look, it's 1337, but because I was lazy, I updated the port. So all I need to do is in my cool portfolio website under client, go to the env file and change this to the right port. I was even dumber than I thought I was. But anyway, for you, it's gonna work. For me, because I'm trying to be too clever. So let's try this again. Restart the project. You know, that's the life demo effect. And so now we have our Strapi instance, and then here's the front end, right? And so the original template didn't have the theme switcher. I was like, no, we need to have dark mode. So I was like, let me add the theme switcher here. So you can have light mode, you can have dark mode. But the cool thing is, like, so I took the simple template that I found, and I basically kind of went ahead and converted the template to consume my Strapi API with the data. So now all this data is not hard-coded. For instance, if you go into Strapi here and you look at pages, the home page, you see that, actually, let me delete this and publish. So now what I could do, like best, like I'm like, building scalable. You know what? I want to change this to say building best scalable websites. Click save. And what's cool in Strapi, you could actually hook up to your Next.js application, add a preview feature. So here, I could actually preview my website. So this is kind of like the published, like the draft and the published. Notice published doesn't have building best because I didn't publish the new change. So let me look at the draft. I'm like, okay, building best web experience makes sense. So I could publish. And here you also have your website running locally. And you could see that if I refresh, boom, it shows my updated data. So now like a non-technical user could easily go ahead and add items to the application. So if I need to add like another section, like for instance, let's, and I made these blocks. By the way, I kind of gonna self-promote myself on YouTube. If you search Strapi 5 crash course, I think my crash course is gonna come up. So I have this whole playlist here. It's basically a long series of how to use Strapi, of freaking ads everywhere. And you could watch and learn how to set up Strapi and how to build like a cool, like the backend for your website. And by the way, I also have, if you want the lessons, this is something I'm still working on it, but if you go to coding30.com, it's absolutely free. You just sign up with GitHub. And if you go to courses, you could learn how to build I'm still working on the notes here, but you could learn how to use Strapi to set it up for websites. So it's kind of cool. But anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep jabbering. Like I'll probably do some coding today too. But the part that I love is I love how you could easily find like a theme and add like, a back end, and all of a sudden you have a website where non-technical users could easily modify, interact. And I kind of have a couple of different projects that I built. Another one that I have Strapi 5 and Next.js Starter. This is a little bit more involved than the previous tutorial because we actually have this blog section. It has search implemented. If I want to search stuff, it works. It's pretty cool. You could filter based on tags. Let me just kind of go back here. You could filter based on tags, which is kind of cool. You have pagination, which works, which is nice. You have, of course, dark mode, light mode. But basically what I like to do is figure out ways to kind of figure out how to quickly build websites for clients by leveraging something like Next.js, using theme, using ShatCN UI like library and components. And also if you use Next.js, like one of the things that I like is using V0 because it's very like Next.js specific. So here I wanted it to quickly mock up it did a terrible job, to be honest. AI is okay. It's not the best, but if you want to mock up things, I do like V0 just to kind of get basic ideas of how to do stuff in terms of AI tools. Yeah, so back to my application. So this is like what I'm working on now. And right now I'm just trying to clean it up, make it usable again. And what's cool is that like whenever I want to add new courses, I have this on the Strapi, like, because I'm very lazy. I hate doing DevOps. And so I have my backend, my Strapi instance that deployed to Strapi Cloud. And basically all my courses that I want to add or manage, they're literally in my backend. So if you take a look at the courses, I have the Strapi 5 crash course. Here's all the different lessons that I have here. And what's awesome, this makes it like very easy for me to update my website. Like for instance, if I look at my website here, go to my courses. Let's go Astro.js crash course. I'm like, it's no longer 2024. I really need to update it quickly to do 2025. And so a non-technical person like, could go here, be like, look at the courses, Astro.js. It should be 2025, right? 2025, although it should technically update it to 2025. Boom, publish change, go back, look, Astro.js crash course. Boom, 2025. I think I have it filter by the date it's updated. That's why it moved here. But notice how, boom, here it says Astro crash course 2025. So it makes it very easy for folks to kind of update their websites without having to ask a developer to do it. And as a developer, like, you could create like this as a service where you build websites where you basically find a template and then you hook it up to a headless CMS, and then you create something that is very easily to manage for clients. And by the way, like, there's a Strapi actual website .io. Like, this whole website is powered by Strapi. So all the content here, from the blog to everything. So you could, like, a lot of enterprise companies use Strapi as well, and then you could also use for yourself. And again, I use Strapi because I love it, and I actually work there, so it makes sense that I talk about it. I also create helpful content around Strapi, but there's other headless CMSs that you can use. But to me, Strapi has been amazing because it's highly customizable. You could do pretty awesome stuff like build plugins, build custom fields, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to stop pandering to my employers and probably look at the questions and see. So most popular local clients to target, I would say, yeah, small businesses, landscaping for sure, plumbers for sure. Maybe landscaping would be a little bit better because landscaping services, people need them all around. And I used to do landscaping. And so, yeah, if you make a niche of building landscaping websites that convert, basically your goal should be is create a website that not only kind of focuses on as an informational site about their business, but also kind of takes into account making it easier for folks to be able to get clients. So you could have like a form on that website that when people land on it, they could sign up, and you could create like this, like a follow-up flow where if someone signs up because they looked at the website, you could create like this automated flow that if 2 weeks went by and they never contacted you, you could automatically send them a reminder. So that way, like, that landscaper, they don't have to think about it, try to manage like the follow-ups. You could basically create a program that when people enter, it creates like this flow where it's like, oh, if we didn't contact this client, follow up with them automatically 2 weeks from now, then another week, and then whatever, 5 days. You just create like this incremental like path, and you basically create this funnel that allows like that landscaper or that business owner to have easier time of finding leads. So that's definitely something to think about. Yeah, and if anybody else have questions, you could always ask. I haven't streamed in forever, and so I just want to get into like the habit of streaming again every Friday night. And basically what I do want to do is also spend sometimes like streaming, but also working on stuff. So yeah, we took a look at the portfolio, so I could close it, and then maybe we could talk and I could try to build something. One of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to like add a way for folks on my website to share code snippets, but I don't know if I'll save it for now. I'm actually like very annoyed with, so like the annoying part that I have with this website right now, maybe I could just struggle with this for now. Like, if, let's say I sign in, right? And I go to a course, view course, and I'll pick this one. Notice I have this URL for this course. And what I want to be able to do is I want to take this URL, and let's say I open a new window, I paste it in. Actually, I want to open it in incognito window because that will show my point. File, new incognito window. And let's say I share the link to that course with you, right? Because you're not logged in, right? When you go there, it's going to go ahead and redirect you to sign in. But here's the thing. I already started this process. I created this redirect, and something somewhere is failing. But basically, it's setting redirect to dashboard and that crash course and the name of the crash course. So the idea, because it has this redirect, once you sign in, well, just imagine I'm too lazy to get my GitHub, but once you sign in, it should redirect you to that course. But that's not what's happening. Like if I sign out, for instance, right? And notice it's saved that redirect. And in theory, what needs to happen, if I click sign in, instead of redirecting to this page here, it needs to redirect to the redirect, if that makes sense. It needs to go directly to that course because that's like a good user experience. Maybe I could try to figure that out. And then Shani asking, it would be interesting to learn how to set up the webhook to remind clients in the future. Is the future? Yeah, that's a good idea. Like that's something that I'm kind of trying to figure out. Actually, like since we're on this, what I've been trying to do is figuring out, like as a developer, like, like there's a lot of stuff that, is being automated, and this whole like hype of using AI to do like weird things. But also like businesses, a lot of times they want to, like especially small businesses, they don't have like that infinite amount of like employees. They need to be able to be more effective and efficient. So something that I've been kind of trying to play with is adding like a web kind of offering, like you have a website and Strapi as a backend, but part of that service is helping the business owner and help to understand how do they acquire clients, and using something like N8N, which allows you to easily create these workflows where you could also use the power of AI. I think like I think it's overhyped. I think there's some legitimate use for it. I mean, I use it, but I also don't think it's taking jobs. I have some like great examples that I could show you today where AI just fails miserably, and it's like annoying that I want to strangle it. But which I'll talk to you in a second. But what I'm also like, let me back up because I have ADHD. My mind spins too fast. So like as a web developer, like I think spending all your time on building like front-end UI, that's not where like the majority of the knowledge is, because I think AI is going to get good at being able to create a passable like interface that looks okay for your clients, or you could find templates. So like as a developer, I don't want to spend the majority of my time building the UI, right? And so I actually use like different services that allow you to easily like create templated projects, so I don't have to worry about it. And so I'm like, okay, that's not the value or where I want to spend my time. And also design, like it's cool, but that doesn't help business owners to make more money, right? And like the idea is like business owners, they have limited amount of time. So if you could help them to automate part of their business, you're actually giving them tremendous value. So as a developer, what I want to spend my time focusing on is A, of course, being able to build a website, but B, more importantly, is to use something like N8N, or N8N is nice because it allows you to set up very complex kind of flows in this graphical way. But I also spend a lot of time using LangChain to build AI workflows, and they have both like Python and then JavaScript. So if you obviously JavaScript, TypeScript developer, you can look at their documentation. I didn't really want to look at LangGraph. I just wanted to look at the docs. But basically figuring out in the big kind of like picture how to use automation to help people be more productive. For instance, one of the things that I have in my Strapi application is I like to consume YouTube videos, and sometimes like I don't have time to watch a 2-hour video, but I want to be able to kind of use whatever they're teaching and learn from it. And so I have this endpoint that I made in my application that will automatically take the video ID, and then it will create a transcript and save it to a database that I could eventually then turn into like an embedded database that I could ask a chatbot, be like, from the 10 videos that I watched, which I didn't watch, but I'm just saying, from 10 recent like entries that I entered, what are the 10 important lessons that you think I should take away? So it's like a way for me to summarize a bunch of information really quickly, so I don't have to watch it, but I could just get the nuggets. And I'm not explaining it well, but basically the idea and my kind of thought about AI and automation is just figure out how to solve little problems in your life that save you time. So N8N is kind of like cool to check it out. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but back to my question and issue here. So let me kind of stop this and let me actually try to troubleshoot my project for a little bit, because I know I like to talk, but I also want to try to be not super productive, but try to accomplish something coding wise in the stream here. So clear ls open or open. No, not open. What am I saying? Code. I don't want to open anything. And then I already had it open. And so I've been trying to kind of clean this project up. And you saw the deployed version of it. This is here running locally yarn dev, yarn f, yarn dev to start. So this is actually the Coding After 30 website that's running locally. And then oops, I closed it like an idiot. And then yeah, here it is running locally. And then so you're not going to see all the courses. And it might look slightly different. And then I have local instance of Strapi running where I have all my dummy data to test it. And what I guess I could try to figure out is why it's not redirecting to the courses. So this is running locally. So that way I don't have to worry about actually introducing any breaking changes to the website that's up. That's why if you see courses here, this is actually using production database. If you take a look here and take a look at courses, it only shows one course because it's just dummy data, but at least I could like figure out and work and break things. And so let me look, and I haven't looked at this. Actually, like do you ever like kind of like, I need more entertainment in my VS Code, and I know my face is in the way. I'll move my face in a second. And it's hard to see. There's like a little cat, and I could say hello to him, and I could, I don't know why it's dumb, but I have a VS Code extension that has little kittens that I could just like hang out with because I don't know, I'm a mess. Anyway, so I just want to share that VS Code has some cool extensions. So I think what's happening, if I go into, I'm in the Next.js project in app, I have a API route, which is basically responsible for redirecting. And right now what it's doing, it has the redirecting just to courses. And what I need to do as a cat lover, I have a mighty need for the extension. Yeah, 100%. So I used to have two cats. They're my daughters, but because my daughter used to live in Japan for past 6 years, and she just recently came back, so she took him back. So I'm lonely again. I'm like, and because she's in the military, she might go to active duty again. That's what she did for past 6 years. But if she goes again, like, I'll get the cats back, and it'll be nice. Yeah, exactly. They used to lay on my keyboard all the time. If you ever see me write obnoxious stuff, it's actually not me. It's my cats typing in the chat. Yeah, so I think like when I was trying to fix my original problem earlier today where I wasn't setting the tokens correctly, it was breaking something. And so I think I should be able to, if you take a look, if I go back to here and I copy this and I log out, I'm already setting, that doesn't look right, to be honest. I don't know why that doesn't look right, but in theory, I'm already setting the redirect link. So what I, in theory, should be able to do is access it here somehow. And then instead of redirecting to courses, I should have the ability to redirect to that link. Let me just look at the chat here. Yeah, and if you all have questions or want any questions about anything, live, not live, random stuff, you could always ask. I do want to keep these interactive. I think it's nice to keep them interactive. Yeah, but I was also like trying to make it work, and I made it like I used to have this application in Remix. I'm looking at my notes. I made it work in my Remix app, and I just have to figure out how to now allow it to work in my Next.js application. By the way, I really love Remix, but then they switched to React Router 7, and there's so many frameworks out there. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stick with, and then like I took over the meetup here for Next.js in Austin. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stick to Next.js everything for a while. And then once in a while, like I still love Astro. I think Astro is like phenomenal and cool. Yeah, and so that's kind of cool. What is this? Yeah, so here's my original kind of idea here. And I think this should still work. So we are resolve params, search params, token search params of token provided by URL, your search params, response okay. So check for redirect URL in the cookie. So we should have, I don't know if it's saving the redirect, to be honest. I don't think I'm doing that, because if I look here, inspect, no, okay, so I am saving it. So I'm saving it. I haven't looked at this stupid application for years. I'm glad I'm finally having time to refactor it and make it usable. By the way, if you're here in chat and you want to interact with my courses, just go to Coding After 30, and just watch some videos and learn stuff about Strapi. And also, like, if something is broken and doesn't work, like, let me know and I could fix it. So, okay, so I am doing that part. I am setting it in a cookie, which is important. So basically the idea, like the way I was thinking about that logic is when people, so let me take a look here. So in the middleware, am I doing it here? Get user, base, middleware, get user. Okay, yeah. So here, basically what happens is when you're not signed in, I'm sharing my screen. When you're not signed in, right? For instance, if I'm signed out, when you click on sign in, because you're trying to sign in and it takes you to that protected route, right? Which is the dashboard, it triggers this middleware next, and it basically says, hey, if you hit a protected route, but you're not logged in, go ahead, take that URL that the user was trying to hit, and then save it into a cookie. So when I just did that, if we inspect, we're going to see in application here, should be a, are you calling me a liar? Username localhost. Okay, we'll figure it out. Maybe locally it's not working, but it needs to send. Let me try that again. Oh, because I'm signed in. Let me sign out. Let me just, for the sake of it, but that's the that's the ideal workflow. So if let me go in this one here. I'll go to sign in for a second. I just want to get the link. So view courses. I want this one. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to sign out. Let me go back here. Let me refresh. Okay, this is clear. So the idea should be, what the hell is going on here? My application is, of course, is going to be broken. So let me try to navigate to that URL. Oh, because I'm an idiot. I'm trying to go into the deployed application. Hold on, it should be HTTP local host 1337, and that should be dashboard. The dashboard Strapi 5. I think that's correct. No, it's not correct. Oh no, it's not 1337. 1337 is the back end. Sorry, I am doing things too quick. It's should be localhost 3000. What happened to my HTTP here? Localhost, I think it's like this. Yeah, and so yeah, it works. So Norse here, let me zoom in here. It set the redirect link as a cookie, right? And that's what happened here in my middleware is I went ahead and I took the URL path. Hold on, I'm looking at your Northern URL dashboard course. Yes, why not redirect? Well, so here's the thing, like because having bunch of logic on the server, there's no way to pass that state from server to client. So that's why when you get, oh, you're not logged in and you get redirected to the homepage where you have to sign in, this middleware gets triggered and it saves the URL as a cookie. But yeah, I could have and now because like I'm talking between like client and server, and so the way I'm able to take this from server and pass it to my front end to be redirected again, because that's going to happen in another server call, which we're going to take a look at in a second. I have no way to pass it outside of like storing it as a cookie. And so basically when I set it here as a cookie, the idea is when I connect with GitHub here, and I kind of started working on this earlier, is to get that URL path and redirect. So I had this previous example. So let's copy this and see what the hell we say. But basically what I want to do is get that cookie, the redirect cookie, and create a new redirect link that I'll be able to trigger on sign-in, which we'll get to in a second. There's probably going to be a lot of experimenting, a lot of crying, because I am trying to get back into using Next.js. I've been really big on Remix until they turned to React Router 7 and all this other stuff. Of course, it's so yeah. Okay, so let's try it. So let's go here. So get response, hostname is localhost domain process. We're gonna go export signature and return or get request. Hold on a second now. I'm in the wrong one. I gotta be here. No wonder nothing made sense to me. So yeah, this is the GitHub provider. Cookie store, await cookies, hostname request, so it's localhost. Resolve this tokens. So I'm already getting the cookie store here. Let me look at my notes here instead of blindly. Boop, 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 boop. I also think I did it here like much better than I'm doing it in my new app. Hold on a second. Yeah, so here's, you know what, like this looks like pretty correct, but I'm not gonna, yeah, so I'm getting cookies from next header here. Yeah, I kind of like this. I gotta look. There's a reason why I did this. I don't remember. So here I am using cookies from next header. But for some reason, I don't remember. That probably is because I ran into issues setting the cookie and I got sick and tired. But here I am getting the cookies from the request. So we have the request, and I'm literally getting the cookies from the request. But in my current implementation, I'm using the cookie store. So in theory, I should have what are you doing? Autocorrect, making stuff up. Cookie store. It's been forever. Store.get, right? And it's not JWT. What the hell did I call it? The redirect URL. Redirect URL. So const redirect URL. Let me make a big space here. Redirect URL. Console log, not data. I want to see my redirect URL. This is why I hate Copilot. I should disable it. Redirect URL.value to kind of see what the hell it looks like. So let's try that. We'll do one step at a time. So what the goal for us is to be able to see this redirect URL in our app. I don't know why my image broke. That's a whole different problem for something else. So let's go to sign in. It redirects us to courses, which is wrong. But in theory, it should show us the redirect URL in console, and it sure does. So now I'm going to have to figure out why. Like, I don't remember why I went directly headers. And maybe it's a better, cleaner approach without using next cookie. And so I'll think about that later. And that's kind of stupid because maybe not, because this is not as straightforward to look for it. Anyway, it's fine. Redirect URL encode. Okay, split. I don't know why I need to encode it. This like seems like I was doing too much. I did this like so long ago that I'm trying to remember why I chose this path, because if I already have the value, which I saw here, where did it go? Where did it go? Yeah, if I have the value here, so let me go back to our original. So we have, oh, that makes so dumb. Like, does it have to be like a redirect dot value based on this object dot value? That makes no sense. Oh, maybe anyway, I'm gonna just do that and see what it shows. Oh, wait, no, because I waited here. Value. I don't think I have to await it again. Regular cookie store, dude. Ooh, my head. I'm just gonna console log it. I'm gonna call it redirect. I'm just gonna for now, just kind of, it's name, value, and path. Nope. Path. Just so I could, no, it's, I'm kind of curious why that's happening. That's so weird. Let me just do this for now. Let me, before I get too ahead of myself, I want to really look at what the hell that looks like. Redirect. So let me sign in. Redirect get set. Okay, no, it's name value, so that's correct. So why wasn't it showing? That makes no sense. I fucking hate TypeScript. I know I should learn TypeScript, but I'm just like, that's what we have ChatGPT for. I'll think about this later. I'm just gonna do this redirect URL, get redirect URL, const URL value. I want to get it to work first. Redirect URL.value, and then in theory, we should say if URL value, go there. If not, go to courses. I'm just gonna say that might work. Maybe it won't, but we'll see. And then I'll clean it up. So sign out. And now if we sign in, it redirects us to dashboard, Strapi 5 crash course, getting started. That's why is that Strapi 5 crash course getting started. So how's that run? We have dash, let me go back here, courses, view course. So we have dashboard. Oh, I know why. So because I guess I'm an idiot, because I had coding after 30 also open, right? And I was kind of going here, and I was going sign in, and I was going to courses, and I was trying to copy the URL from the production app, where instead it needs to be set from here. But wait a second, let me restart everything. Sometimes that's all you need to do. Yarn dev, yarn dev. So in Unix, you can't do login, request, dashboard. Well, so like the login, it's in, it happens through the server call in the connect provider here. So I have to do it here because so what's happening, because I'm using GitHub auth provider, it's calling GitHub. GitHub is checking if you're authorized. Then it returns the token, and then it processes everything here and sets the cookie. And then this is where I'm redirecting. And so this is where I have to redirect, if that makes sense. Because this is where login is happening, if that makes sense. But I could probably do it in the middleware too. But let me just try this one more time here. Let me go to application, clear everything. So I'm in the course, right? I'm in the introduction here. If I sign out, oh, is my app not running? Yarn dev, yarn dev. Yeah, so that probably, let's try that again, makes sense. Let me refresh everything. Okay, sign in. So if I sign out, it should save that to the redirect, which we have here. And then we should also Yeah, well, we're not going to see the console log yet until I click the sign in button. When I click the sign in button, it's going to go ahead. Oh, yeah. So perfect. That worked. And that's exactly what I wanted. I don't know why I did it differently in the other app, because this feels like more straightforward. Okay, so yeah, so basically that was very easy, not as hard as I thought it was going to be. So basically the flow is, we have a middleware in Next where we have a check. If you're in a like, if you try to hit a protected route, and this is where like the courses are, but you're not logged in, it will redirect you back to homepage, but it's going to take the redirect URL, which is basically the last page you were trying to visit, and it's going to save it as a cookie. And because it's saved as a cookie, I'm able to access it in a completely different place, because right now I'm inside the middleware, but I'm able to now go to the route that's responsible through my GitHub provider auth inside the route. And now I'm like, well, how do I pass the data to this endpoint? Oh, I set it as a cookie. And so now I'm able to go ahead and get that cookie with that URL. And now I'm able to redirect to it. So let's test it one more time before pushing to production. I should do a PR, but I want to push it to main because I want to see if it works, but don't do that. Okay, let's try that again. So let's sign out. Let's click sign in again, and that worked. Okay, so now let's go here. And typically what you would do, you would make a PR and you would do whatever, but I'm going to do get status just to make sure I didn't make too many changes. Get status. I can't. Oh, wait. Oh, I need to be in the proper folder. Sorry, I got too excited. Let me do it like that. It's hard to see. I'm so blind. ls cd cat client. That's what I was working on. Get status. So we modified that route where we added that redirect. So let's get add. And I'm working in main. I should have done a different branch. Get commit message. I did a thing. I'm doing all the bad practices. Get push. We should never push to main. This is going to trigger my Vercel deployment. Actually, you got to be here. Vercel. And I'll tell you why I need that functionality. I'll show you why that's important to me in a second if everything works. And if it doesn't, we'll all have a good laugh, and then I'm going to stop the stream and go cry. I think that's a really nice strategy too. Oh no, so Elderbrand, good to see you. Don't worry, I'm going to start streaming again every Friday, 8 p.m. CST time. I haven't done it in a while, but that's a great question. So I'm not using Clerk or Supabase. For my Next.js project, I basically have my front end. So for this website, Coding After 30, the front end is built with Next.js. And for back end, I'm using Strapi Cloud because I want to use a Headless CMS to manage all my stuff. Where's that LMS project? And then in Strapi, you're able to set up social providers. So what I wanted to do is to kind of not deal with like email sign up or anything else. I wanted to keep it straightforward and simple and not be responsible for it. So I used our GitHub provider to be able to set up the auth, and then I set the Git and GitHub, how you add the ad, like the app and blah, blah. So I'm basically using Strapi to handle that. So I don't have to use Clerk or Next.auth or what have you. If I wasn't using Strapi, I would probably lean on Next.auth, and then just because it's like straightforward, and it's free because Clerk is paid. You could use it free for a little bit, but if I was doing a production app and I didn't want to worry too much about it, I'd probably use Clerk, or there's like another one called Auth something. I forgot what it is. But yeah, so for this, I'm just using Strapi's in-house provider that makes it easier. And this is where I'm able to manage all my lessons, all my course content that lives on my website. So let's go back to Vercel. Okay, 2 minutes ago. Okay, something looks broken. It's okay, but we don't care because we live and learn. Okay, it's not broken. It's just, I don't know why I didn't learn the image. So now here's the reason why I wanted to have that feature, and we're gonna test if it works. So if I'm looking at if I have a course, right? And let's say I wanna share this lesson, I should be able, and this is kind of what I'm doing on my YouTube videos, right? And a user is typically not signed in. And let's say they found the tutorial on YouTube, and I'm telling them, hey, check out the website. And to make it easier, I think this link should work unless it's broken, but I want them to easily to be able to click on it. And this is going to take him, hey, you're not logged in, you have to log in, but it remembers the URL they're coming from. And so when they sign in, boom, it redirects them to the lesson that they originally clicked on. And that's just a much cooler and easier experience for the user, because now they don't have to log in and then navigate to the lesson that I shared. So boom, the feature that I kind of wanted to get working, I got working. So that's amazing, because that usually doesn't happen. And the last thing I'm going to kind of say before I go on the stream, so I like using AI, but AI is only good at things that it knows, but a lot of times it lies. So one of the things that I want to share with you is I was trying to troubleshoot a provider, and the issue was on the server. So it had nothing to do with the code, but I was getting like a weird error message. And so AI was like, I think this is what's happening, and going to give me the answer. And so one of the things that wasn't working, my login provider wasn't working. And it wasn't working because the host was not set up properly on the server. But ChatGPT or Cursor, whatever you used, was like, no, the issue is in your code. I swear to God. And then it's like, no, the issue is not in the code. And it literally said to me, it's like, the way you fix your issue, you need to go in your Strapi backend, you go to your providers, and there's going to be a checkbox that says link to GitHub. Let me show you something. And I know that's bullshit. If I go to providers and I go here, there is no link to GitHub. And I'm not gonna open here because I don't wanna share my production thing. Let me open it in localhost. Let me restart my application. But anyway, to make the long story short, it basically hallucinated a checkbox that doesn't exist. And that's why AI sucks, is because like the issue is the fact that if it doesn't know, it just makes stuff up. And if you as a developer have no idea that it's giving you something that it made up, it takes you down these crazy rabbit holes. And I'll show you one issue that I had recently, which is like really, really frustrating. And I found out that I would have been faster if I thought about the problem myself and not asking ChatGPT about it. But Jess says, can you repeat the stream time again, please, today? I'm tired, but join the next time. Yeah, and you'll be able to rewatch the stream. So I'm going to start to stream every Friday at 8 p.m. CST time. So I'm like in US. So that's going to be the normal time, and I'll come back and stream. But the last frustration that I want to show you, let me make sure that everything stopped here. Clear. I kind of forget where am I? Is it in project, Pulse Strapi Playground? I don't remember where I put it. Maybe it's in projects. LS CD music app. Yeah. CD client. And this is why I feel like there's so much hype around like, oh, is it going to take our jobs? Not going to take our jobs. And the issue is, it's like AI is good at some things that it knows that exists. But if it's like a new problem you're trying to solve, or something different that it's not aware of, it like fails miserably. So I'm learning music, right? And so I'm building this application for myself where I want to be able to represent piano chords in this thing called Push, which basically has this 8x8 layout. And I'll go to the scale here. And basically, like I'll show you, like the physical push device looks like this, and it has like a grid. And basically what I wanted to do, and I also have this little keyboard because I'm also trying to learn piano. And basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to be able to pick a kind of scale and have it show all the notes in the scale. And this is like still kind of like it's getting there. It's better. Let me pick C major and pick a C major chord. And I wanted it to be able to show like, so like I did spend a lot of time. So this kind of working. So it's showing the chord on the piano, and then it's showing the chords like C, D, E, well, C, E, and G, C, E, and G. Like this is like where I would play it on my push. But to have it figure out like kind of like how to represent the notes, what is the like the note intervals? It's like tone, tone, semitone. Like there's like certain mathematical like formula to create the scales, and how do you make it match, and how do you show stuff like in the scale. Like I also like see this is still wrong because like D minor, I don't like it doesn't. I don't think D minor does D minor exist in? Let me see, C minor, D minor. Yeah, I mean like D minor doesn't exist in the. I don't think so. I'm still learning. Like, so the another issue is like I have to understand music theory to be able to code this appropriately, and that's also a trouble having. But anyway, stuff like the story that I was going to say is that the stuff that you kind of, it's a hard problem to solve because it requires like specific domain name. Like for instance, you have to understand music theory, how the constructions of notes and like scales works, what chords and what scale to build the algorithm that's able to represent that. And if you're building something that's not commonly done, right? It's not something that people do on day-to-day basis because music programming is such a small sliver of the thing that like ChatGPT or Cursor or whatever, it wasted 5 hours of my day and didn't really accomplish anything. So the point that I'm saying is learn to use the tools where they work to be productive quickly, to get stuff done, just so you could spend more time trying to focus your time on solving hard problems that LLMs might have a hard time. So I still think like as a developer, like a lot of people like thinking like, oh no, like all the jobs are going to be gone. I think getting a job right now is hard because the economy is hard. It's not like so much like AI is replacing developers. Like at my company, we just like hired a couple of developers, and I think you know, they still have like a couple of different roles available. And I know like a lot of companies are still hiring. Is still hard, right? You still have to pass the interview, but it's not like AI is taking jobs, as a lot of these big companies saying. It's more of the economy that's hurting, and you know, the state of things. Because just from our standpoint, our company where I work, none of our developers have been replaced by AI, but we are encouraged to use AI to allow us to be more productive. But anyway, I wanted to share my frustration a little bit ahead. And let's see who's still in chat. But yeah, I'm gonna be back on streaming. But I think this will be like a good time to end. So thanks a lot, everybody. I'll catch you in the next stream. I'm gonna start streaming every Friday, 8 p.m. CST time. So thanks a lot, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, everybody.